Kangaroo attack. An animal lashes out at a little girl at an animal park, leaving her to recover this morning. See for yourself the video.
Also, new settlement. The former embattled Espanola Valley High School coach Richard Martinez and the state come to an agreement this morning. We'll tell you what it means for the coach.
Plus, deadly investigation underway as we speak. Overnight news, police now looking into the death of a person found in Northwest Albuquerque. What we know so far coming up in a live report.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Crystal Gutierrez. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning, May 9th. We'll get to our news in just a moment, but first we do have some breaking news.
Breaking news that may affect your morning drive. Right now, Wyoming is closed in both directions from Cubero to Burleson in northeast Albuquerque. This after a pedestrian was hit and killed. Police do have investigators on scene right there right now. One vehicle involved. We do have a crew on the way. We'll continue to get more details coming into our newsroom, let you know what happens there. But again, Wyoming closed in both directions now from Cubero to Burleson.
In the meantime, we're also talking about a lot going on weather-wise. Kristen Curry's tracking that. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we're actually tracking showers and thunderstorms as early as now, and those will continue this afternoon. Right now, satellite radar shows a few showers and even a little bit of high mountain snow over the northern mountains. But I want to draw your attention to that northwestern corner. We have a pretty strong thunderstorm right on that county line between San Juan County and McKinley County here. This is to the north of Twin Lakes, likely seeing even some small hail in there, but lots of heavy rain. And this is going to be something we'll have to watch not only this morning, but this afternoon. The possibility of localized flooding underneath some of these heavier showers. So if you are in that area, heads up, wait this one out. These storms are pushing to the north, and we have more of the showers out over the San Cristobal Mountains. Not quite as heavy, a little bit more spread apart, but something to watch for your morning commute. Scattered storms and showers are big focus today. Likely to see more of them out there compared to what we had yesterday. Strong to even severe storms still possible. Hail, wind, heavy rain, and even the possibility of isolated tornadoes with some of those stronger thunderstorms this afternoon, and cooler temperatures headed our way. So a lot to cover. Details on what you can expect in your neighborhood coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Kristen. And we start with some breaking overnight news. Authorities now actively investigating a scene at a home after officers make a startling discovery while conducting a welfare check late last night.
Police say one person is dead. Another person of interest is in custody. Sarah Yingling's live from the scene in Northwest Albuquerque with details. Sarah?
Yeah, Adam, Crystal, you can see that this is still a very active scene here, and this is all unfolding just down the road from Valley High School, where police have been combing over evidence at a home right behind me all night and all morning. Information is limited right now, but what we do know is that APD says they were called out here around 9:30 last night to a home on the 1700 block of Candelaria Northwest to do a welfare check. When officers went inside, they found one person dead. Officers have been out here all morning. Take a look at your screens. Now, this is video we shot just a few hours ago that shows the home being taped off along with several police cruisers and the mobile crime lab unit, as well as a CSI van. Now, the investigation is still in its early stages, but we're working to get more information for you this morning. Again, we're told that police have detained one person of interest. They're not saying who that person is or who the victim is right now at this time. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that update, Sarah. And as Sarah did mention earlier, this is all playing out about a block or two from Valley High School. Right now, there are no roads being blocked off. The route to school should not be affected.
On to new details on that former embattled Espanola Valley High School coach accused of verbally and physically abusing players. This morning, we've learned that he has now reached an agreement with the state and will walk away from the school district. That's all according to the Santa Fe New Mexican. It reports that Public Education Secretary Hannah Scandera wrote the district a letter highlighting the terms of the agreement, including Martinez's resignation from the district effective June 30th. It goes on to say that Martinez agrees to never seek employment or a contract that puts him in contact with the district or the school ever again. According to the New Mexican, Martinez also received a one-year suspension of his teaching license, and the state will revoke his coaching license with the option of reapplying for it in 2019. The settlement comes after allegations of abuse and intimidation. Martinez is also at the center of a lawsuit filed by 3 families claiming retaliation and battery.
On to news happening today. A motion hearing could impact the trials for the 3 suspects allegedly behind the murder of 10-year-old Victoria Martins. Victoria's mother, Michelle Martins, her boyfriend, Fabian Gonzalez, and his cousin, Jessica Kelly. They're all charged with the crime. Police recovered a smartphone Michelle Martins sold and a laptop Gonzalez pawned in the weeks before Victoria was murdered. Prosecutors will look for any of those conversations and any images of children if the judge approves the motion. Also, judge is set to decide the order of trial for the 3 suspects. Last week, we told you the state made a motion to have 3 separate trials. The state wants the order to go as follows: Martins, Gonzalez, then Kelly.
Happening next week, thousands of APS students are expected to graduate and earn their diploma. But some high school seniors may not get to walk with their class on the big day. That's because they have fines to pay. We spoke with one parent who's refusing to pay the money. Ray Madrid says he was notified that his daughter can't walk the stage for Sandia because she owes $20 for a book that she never returned her sophomore year. Madrid claims that his daughter did return that book.
Here we are, 12 days to graduation, and there's a book missing. They wait until now. It's extremely disheartening.
APS district policy says that it may withhold grades, diplomas, or transcript for damages or loss of any instructional material.
New this morning, Democratic lawmakers from New Mexico are hoping to pass federal legislation that would ensure schools do not stigmatize or cast shame on children as attempts to get them to collect lunch debts from their parents. U.S. Senators Tom Udall and Martin Heinrich, along with Representatives Ben Ray Lujan and Michelle Lujan Grisham, are sponsoring this bill. It mirrors a New Mexico state law adopted this year that cracks down on lunch shaming and outlines application procedures to ensure federally subsidized lunches reach eligible children.
There's still no word this morning on whether a troubled priest is back in his home country of the Philippines after pictures show he was still in Belen even after the archdiocese asked him to leave. Father Jonas Romea was suddenly removed from Our Lady of Belen Catholic Church last month. The Archdiocese of Santa Fe never said why. We did, though, receive these pictures showing Father Romea with a teen at a rec center. A date stamp on the photo of the church-related function shows May 4th. On Friday, Archbishop John Wester released a statement saying that Romea had been removed because of prior inflammatory remarks in homilies and a complaint of, quote, boundary violations against him.
All I know is that what I was told by the Archdiocese was he was given a new assignment and he was no longer with the church here in Belen.
A prior statement from the Archdiocese said the priest had been sent to the Philippines. Belen police say an 18-year-old claims that Romea made remarks about her clothes in Facebook pictures and also kissed her on the cheek.
A year after her disappearance, the search continues for a missing Taos woman this morning. Last May, 49-year-old Holly White was supposed to meet up with friends. She never showed up, though. Her SUV was found parked by the Taos Gorge Bridge the next day. She never was seen again. Family and friends say she's not suicidal. They fear she may have been abducted by someone she met online. White is blonde, 5'11", around 200 pounds. If you know anything about her disappearance, you're asked to call state police.
Let's turn to news out of South Korea this morning, where voters are about to choose their next president. The polls just closed minutes ago. The result of the election could change how that country deals with the North Korean nuclear crisis. And one of the big issues between the two main candidates are their differing views on the controversial U.S. anti-missile system called THAAD. Government corruption and the economy are also main issues for voters. The election will end a leadership vacuum after former President Park Geun-hye was impeached in a corruption scandal.
On to new news this morning. A Phoenix man connected to a string of serial killings in Phoenix is now behind bars. 23-year-old Aaron Juan Sacedo is linked to 9 murders and 12 incidents in the last 2 years in a case they called the serial street shooter. Phoenix police took him into custody just yesterday. They say tips from the public led to Salcido being linked to the killings.
This summer, the state hopes to break ground on a project that would get traffic moving at one of Albuquerque's busiest spots. That plan is to widen I-25 by extending the 4th lane southbound from San Antonio to Jefferson. That would ease congestion caused by cars exiting and merging during the morning rush and evening rush hours. The project would also include a rebuild of the bridge over San Mateo. Construction for the project will cost just under $10 million. Most of it comes from federal funding.
A quick warning for you. The video you're about to see is graphic. It could be deemed too much for folks this morning. A 9-year-old girl is recovering today after a kangaroo grabbed and bit her over the weekend. Let's take a closer look for you. The family was visiting Harmony Park Safari in Alabama, and a pretty scary scene unfolded. Here it is. You can see the kangaroo pull the little girl through the fence and bite her. Her mom says she now has 14 stitches.
You blame yourself sometimes, like, you know, why did I take her to the park that day? Why did I take her to see the kangaroo?
The park did not comment, but at the entrance of the kangaroo trail, there are signs posted showing a warning and also showing that the animal is known to bite.
Pretty scary
I don't
for
know
any
about
parents
that.
Still. Yikes.
All right, after the break, it's time to break out the umbrellas today. Some of the state will see showers, including possibly here in the metro. Kristen Curry's in next. She's breaking it all down.
Plus, winning question. Local teacher appears on national TV to respond to some tough answers. How she did. And gone missing. A local man now without a device worth tens of thousands of dollars. Why it's so important to him and what he says happened to it. Next.
Welcome back, everyone. An Albuquerque man is looking for a critical $30,000 device after he says thieves snatched it from his car. Here are the details for you. The device is a heart pump used to keep his heart beating. Ed says the pump is for a case study he's part of with the University of Colorado Hospital. He says he must have forgotten to lock his car door earlier this week, leaving an open opportunity for the thieves.
I'm retired. We live on Social Security. And if you're familiar with Social Security, it doesn't pay a whole lot. Senior community, yes.
Ed did file a police report. He is now trying to work with the hospital to get a replacement.
If you make the long trip to Japan soon, one amusement park is offering a unique kind of thrill to park goers this morning. And I say unique because it's odd. Hirokata Park now has a new service that provides fake bad guys that a date can punch to impress their significant other. Here's how it works. Bad guys approach you and your date to say something rude, and you make it appear like you're letting them have it. Actually, the punches aren't real. They're just scripted entertainment, and the hero, quote unquote, must attend a class to safely plan out the performance. So it's all staged.
I still think it's funny. Kristen is not on board with
No.
this.
Not on board with this.
But I think it might be good for folks maybe wanting to pursue a field in acting. No?
I guess.
But when everyone's not in on it and you don't know it's acting, then I feel like it just makes it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I would equate it to, and this may not make me very popular, but I would equate it to those traffic stops, like, you know, with the promposals and the proposals where the police kind of pretend like they're arresting somebody.
They're not violent. That's what I have against this, is just like it's encouraging people to like pretend punch each other to impress a date.
Yeah,
I pretend punch Adam all the time. See? You're
and I go,
smart.
ugh.
Yeah. I don't
See,
know.
was that good
I'm
acting?
uncomfortable
That's
now.
Yeah.
No,
So am I.
don't know. Really,
I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I
Who's
can't be
more
around you
uncomfortable?
too.
I know. Once again, forced friendship. You guys are making it real tough on me today. A satellite radar this morning showing our next big weather maker moving in our direction, crossing over Arizona today and eventually overhead New Mexico tomorrow. But it's still close enough to fire off the showers and storms over northern and western areas. There's so much more to come, guys. So let's talk numbers first, then we're going to get to the storm chances. But some of these storms, the more isolated they are, the stronger they are. So we're going to be watching for all those threats we just talked about continuing into tomorrow before things quiet down late week into the weekend. Of course, make sure you're staying up to date with us too. We're going to be firing off a lot more updates as these storms develop.
Busy day.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a nice Mother's Day. at
Yeah,
least.
once we get past
through all this. Thanks, Kristen.
6:19. How about a check on that early morning drive? Good morning, Steve.
Well, good morning, Crystal. We're just getting something in here to the traffic center. We're getting reports of Wyoming being shut down in both directions just north of Academy for an accident, and it's also impacting a school entrance. So you want to use Ventura as your workaround. You know, taking a look at the freeways, well, they're slowing on I-40 eastbound at Coors. There's nothing unusual about that. You'll pick it right back up. I-25 in both directions is looking very good so far this morning. And we're looking at the surface streets. Well, other than that one accident, they are running accident-free. Moderate volumes on both I-40 and I-25, but those are picking up quickly. I'm Steve Trella, KRQE News 13 Traffic.
On to an update to a story we brought to you yesterday morning. A teacher from Santa Fe is soaking in the glory after winning on Jeopardy! Gil Anschels, a kindergarten teacher from El Dorado Community School in Santa Fe, made her big appearance last night. She defended a strong lead, and she was the only contestant to get the final Jeopardy! Correct. She gave the right question to the answer. The year in which Jimmy Carter was inaugurated as president. What is 1977? It will give all contestants a $2,500 educational grant to fund classroom projects. I almost felt like Alex Trebek there. How did I do?
You did great.
Good.
That's what was so confusing before the break. We were saying the question, she got the answer right.
Yeah. So it was the question she got correct.
That's the thing with Jeopardy. It's kind of backwards, but fun to play. Some teens might say the last person they'd want to show up at their prom would be their parents, but that wasn't the case for one North Carolina senior. After the break, the sweet gift he gave his mom 18 years in the making.
You want to see that story. It's great. Plus, a road to recovery after vets work to save the life of a 1-year-old husky. Rescuers are now trying to find him a forever home. The efforts pouring in and why they think his injuries were deliberate.
Welcome back. North Carolina student made his mother proud by taking her to prom. Take a listen.
Words cannot even explain this moment. It's been like 18 to 20 years. I never thought I'd get this moment, but he wanted me to have a high school prom.
So sweet.
I love this story.
Yeah, Chantel Howard Moss missed out on her own prom years ago because she was actually pregnant with her son, Raekwon. Now, at that time, so you fast forward to now, it was Raekwon who made sure she got the experience, the teenage tradition firsthand.
Oh my goodness. This gives me chills every time I hear it. I love this
So
story.
sweet.
I can't even get my daughter to say I love you when her friends are around. It's always, I love you.
Start campaigning. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. A 1-year-old husky who's already faced a lot is now looking for a forever home. Meet Scarface. He's a 1-year-old husky who was found with chemical burns on his face. Vets think someone did this deliberately. They're not trying to track down the attacker. In the meantime, rescuers are hoping they can find him a new home. A GoFundMe account has been set up to pay for his medical bills, and while Scarface's corneas were damaged, his prognosis is pretty good. The vets think he'll regain sight in one, if not both eyes over time.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
What
He's
a
just a sweet dog.
sweetheart.
Yeah. The Washington Fire Department teamed up with animal control and water officials to perform a very special rescue yesterday. They cracked open a storm drain to free 8 ducklings that had fallen through the gate. The grate, I should say. Officials plucked each duckling out of the sewer and then set them loose near their watchful mother. All 8 ducklings were rescued safely and reunited with her.
Oh, they're so precious.
She wasn't too far. She was pretty desperate, I bet, to help them out.
There we go.
Oh,
They're
there
so
they are.
cute, aren't they? Okay, coming up on our next half hour, a sweet surprise. A soldier makes it home to pay a visit to his mom just in time for her birthday. You don't want to miss how he did it.
And headed to court, both prosecutors and defense attorneys will speak to new jurors for the first time about the case in the retrial of a former deputy. What else could be ahead today in court as well in our next half hour?
What?
A sweet welcome home. A soldier surprises his mom to see her just in time for her special day. We'll show you the full reunion coming up.
Also, flashing out, the president speaking his mind on the ongoing investigations into Russian meddling. What he's saying now and what others are claiming.
Plus, opening statements, a new set of jurors will hear both sides in the retrial of former Santa Fe County Deputy Ty Chan. The big day ahead in court coming up.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KRT News 13 this morning. I'm Krista Gutierrez.
I'm Adam Atchison. It's Tuesday, May 9th. One of our top stories today is the weather forecast.
Absolutely. Let's get right to Kristen Curry. Good morning.
Good morning. Now we're continuing to track showers and thunderstorms that held on overnight. And right now we're still tracking even the thunderstorms out over the northwestern corner. And that's where some of the stronger storms are at the moment in far western San Juan County and McKinley County. You can see from Newcomb down to close to Gallup, we're seeing some of these showers and storms stretch. So something to watch for, likely some small hail, a lot of gusty winds and even heavy rain at times embedded within some of these showers and thunderstorms. We get a lot more headed in our direction later on today. Lighter rain, but even a little bit of mixed in snow over the Sangre Crystal Mountains. So this spring storm is really going to give us a mix of it all today. Gusty winds bouncing around the camera over downtown Albuquerque. Some pretty good cloud cover out over the mountains. 61 degrees, breezy conditions. Those East Canyon winds hitting us anywhere from 10 to 15 this morning. Likely to be bumped to 20 to 30 miles per hour this afternoon. So the scattered storms and showers by far our top concern, as some of these storms will likely turn severe. This is what we had yesterday out over the eastern plains, northern, central, and eastern New Mexico. Looking at the possibility of isolated to scattered severe storms this afternoon, with temperatures cooling off through midweek. So a lot to cover. I will outline today's severe weather threat, that is, and we'll also go over what's left for the rest of the work week coming up.
On to some breaking news now out of Northeast Albuquerque, where police are investigating a deadly pedestrian crash. This is at the intersection of Wyoming and Burleson, right near Albuquerque Academy. Police tell us the pedestrian was hit by a car and was pronounced dead on scene. It's unclear what led up to this crash, but officers do not think alcohol was a factor. Right now, Wyoming is currently blocked off in both directions from Cubero Drive to Burleson, while officers continue to investigate this. Drivers are being asked to avoid this area altogether. We do have a crew heading that way. We'll bring you a live report coming up a little later on in the broadcast. On to the news happening in just hours. Opening statements set to begin in the retrial of former Santa Fe County Deputy Tai Chan. It will be the first time both prosecutors and the defense will speak about the case to a new jury.
12 jurors and a few alternates will be in their seats this morning, all of them picked on the first day of the trial yesterday. Chan is accused of fatally shooting his partner, Deputy Jeremy Martin, at a Las Cruces hotel in 2014. Chan's first trial ended in a hung jury after jurors said they couldn't agree on what charge Chan was guilty of. This jury, though, will be doing something a little different. After a request from prosecutors, the judge has agreed to let them visit the crime scene in person. That is expected to happen after opening statements. We're going to be streaming opening statements live on our website and have updates on air and on the KRQE News app.
On to a live look over Capitol Hill this morning. News out of Washington, D.C., where President Trump will meet with the National Security Advisor today. In the meantime, the president is calling ongoing investigations into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, quote, a taxpayer-funded charade. Yesterday in a hearing, former acting Attorney General Sally Yates confirmed she had 2 in-person meetings with White House counsel in January, warning them that then National Security Advisor Michael Flynn had misled Vice President Pence about his contacts with the Russian ambassador to U.S.
That created a compromise situation, a situation where the National Security Advisor essentially could be blackmailed by the Russians.
Now, Senate lawmakers also asked Yates and former National Intelligence Director James Clapper if they ever reviewed classified documents in which the names of Trump associates were unmasked. Both confirmed they had, but said they could not go into detail.
And developing this morning, federal appeals court judges appear divided on President Trump's travel ban. Yesterday, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Virginia held a nearly 2-hour hearing on the subject. One judge saying President Trump never disavowed his campaign statements on keeping Muslims out of the country, and another asked if the ban would still be illegitimate if Trump had not won the election. A decision is expected from the Fourth Circuit before the end of the month.
On to an update to a story we brought to you yesterday morning. Former New Mexico Congresswoman Heather Wilson is now working as the Secretary of the Air Force. Yesterday, Wilson's nomination was approved by the Senate 76-22, making her President Trump's first service secretary nominee to be approved. As Secretary, Wilson will oversee Air Force bases across the nation. That does include New Mexico's Kirtland, Cannon, and Holloman. Stay with News 13 for our continuing coverage of President Trump and the administration on air, online, and by using our KRQE News app.
As 2 inmates who escaped jail wake up back behind bars, there are new details about their getaway. Officials say they had help getting from Bernalillo to Albuquerque. Paul Garcia, Blake McPherson both took off from Sandoval County Jail on Friday night. Deputies say they got through a fence in the rec yard. And according to officials, they went to Garcia's friend's house where Garcia changed clothes and made phone calls. A relative of Garcia's drove them to Albuquerque where they split up. McPherson was later caught at apartments at University and Indian School. Deputies picked Garcia up Sunday in Meadow Lake near Los Lunas after he turned himself in. Investigators say they haven't decided whether to charge any of the people who helped the escapees.
On to new news this morning. More jobs could be on the line at the Santa Fe University of Art and Design before it closes next year. That's according to the Santa Fe New Mexican. The university has already laid off 15 staff workers. It expects to notify department chairs and faculty of further cuts within the next few weeks. Administrators announced the school would close in the spring of 2018, citing ongoing financial challenges.
Oh, you got to hear this story. Reunited once again this morning. Sergeant Brian Bushnell just got back from Germany and decided to surprise his mom with a homecoming at an Iowa parade. Take a look at this. Yeah, that's Ruth Bushnell. She's turning 60 later this week, so her son knew a phone call from Germany wouldn't cut it. She says it's a moment that she won't soon forget. Sergeant Bushnell also reunited with his wife and 10-month-old girl before the parade. Imagine if he had tried to surprise them, too. That would have been a great video, but I'm sure it's enough just for mom.
What a great surprise. Yeah. I love that story.
Rain is back in the forecast. Kristen's tracking some showers for some, including a chance in the metro. What to expect in your forecast next.
Also this, cuteness alert. One local family is a whole lot bigger this morning. How many kiddos are joining the household? We'll tell you coming up.
We're continuing to follow breaking news in Northeast Albuquerque right now. Police are investigating a deadly crash at the intersection of Wyoming and Burleson. Here you can see that area taped off and crime scene investigators on scene. Here's what we know. Both directions of Wyoming closed north of Academy from Cubero Drive to Burleson, but there is still access to Albuquerque Academy, which is in that area. So that's good news for those drivers that may be headed in that direction. Here's what we know. Police tell us the pedestrian was hit by a car and was pronounced dead. Drivers are being asked to avoid that area. We have a crew headed that way. We're going to have a live report coming up in the morning rush here in just a few minutes.
Okay, switching gears here. One couple hopes to be back in New Mexico soon after welcoming some new members to their family. Donovan and Cassie Sanchez of Lovington welcomed quadruplets last Wednesday. The two girls, Scarlett Aaron and Cheyenne Lynn, and two boys, Gunnar Trey and Arrow Thomas. The couple already has a 4-year-old son, Hazen. That makes 5 if you're counting. The family has been at a Lubbock hospital for the last 75 days. They say they were all conceived completely naturally.
That is incredible.
How lucky.
Yeah.
Busy family here in the coming weeks.
For sure. That's a
Years.
fast addition. What, to 7 now?
I know.
Ooh.
Well, I wonder too if they live in Lovington or in Lubbock now, if they were already in Lubbock, you know, because that's quite the drive.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Maybe.
Maybe dodging severe storms today. Or the same tomorrow before we catch a break. Sunshine and warmer temperatures expected by Mother's Day weekend. We have more details online this morning.
All right, thanks, Kristen.
So coming up in the morning rush, we're following breaking news out of Northeast Albuquerque. A crash leaves 1 pedestrian dead. The latest on what we know so far coming up in a live report.
And presidential book, Bill Clinton co-writing a new novel. The surprising theme coming up in the morning rush.
Time now for the morning rush.
Let's start with Kristen Curry.
Scattered to widespread showers and thunderstorms likely once again today. Even this morning, we have a few out west, but the bullseye today will be across central, northern, and eastern New Mexico. There is the possibility that some of these turn severe. We'll be watching for threats, including isolated tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, and heavy downpours. Albuquerque not quite as significant with the severe weather threat here in the metro, but we will be watching the eastern plains closely. Sarah?
Breaking news out of Northeast Albuquerque, where police here are investigating a deadly pedestrian accident. Police tell me it happened here at the intersection of Wyoming and Burleson around 5 this morning. Police tell us the pedestrian was pronounced dead on the scene. Now, it's unclear what led up to that crash, but officers don't think alcohol was a factor. Right now, Wyoming is blocked in the northbound direction. Southbound is open. At the Burleson, Wyoming intersection, drivers will be able to drop their kids off at Albuquerque Academy. If you do have kids there, we'll continue to keep you updated throughout the morning on our KRQE News app. Adam?
Authorities now actively investigating at a home after officers found one person dead while conducting a welfare check late last night. APD says they were called to a home in the 1700 block of Candelaria Northwest about 9:30. They say they have detained a person of interest. We posted more information on our website, krqe.com.
Also developing this morning, police are actively investigating a shooting at an Albuquerque hotel. It happened at the Quality Inn in Manal and University. Police say a man told them he went there to sell speakers but was tied up and shot instead. Investigators say that man is expected to survive.
Also underway this morning, a homicide investigation. We first told you about that scene yesterday morning. APD officers were dispatched to a shooting call near Chico and Charleston Northeast. We now know they found a man dead in a parking lot. A preliminary cause of death is gunshot, but detectives are still waiting on autopsy results. The victim's name has not been released.
This morning, the former Espanola Valley High School coach, Richard Martinez, accused of abuse, has now settled an agreement with the PED. According to the article, Martinez has agreed to resign from the school district effective June 30th, not teach for a year, and surrender his coaching license until he can reapply in 2019. The settlement comes after allegations of abuse and intimidation among students, parents, and staff.
An obscene video is under scrutiny this morning after getting attention on UNM's Snapchat feed. We're not showing that video because it may be too graphic for some, but the video, which appears to be in a library, came up yesterday on the social media site. It has since been taken down. UNM officials say they don't know whether the person in the video is a student or if the video was taken on campus. It has also been reported to Snapchat and campus police.
On to news happening right now. 13 judges from the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals in Virginia are still considering whether to uphold a challenge to President Trump's revised travel ban. The president's executive order would temporarily prohibit people from 6 Muslim-majority countries from visiting or moving to the U.S. The panel heard more than 2 hours of testimony yesterday. A decision is expected to come by the end of the month.
And it is Election Day in South Korea following the impeachment and dismissal of former President Park Geun-hye. Park was forced from office in March amid bribery and abuse of power charges. She's in jail awaiting her trial later this month. The results of the election forthcoming.
Happening next week, thousands of APS students are expected to graduate and earn their diploma, but some high school seniors may not get the chance to walk because of fines. We spoke with one parent who's refusing to pay the money. He says he was told his daughter owes $20 for a book she never returned. He says she did. APS policy states they can withhold grades, diplomas, or transcripts for damages or loss of instructional material.
On to News New this morning. More jobs could be on the line at Santa Fe University of Art and Design before it closes next year. That's according to the Santa Fe New Mexican. The university has already laid off 15 staff workers, and it expects to notify department chairs and faculty of further cuts within the next few weeks. Administrators announced the school would close in the spring of 2018.
Still no word on whether a troubled priest is back in his home country of the Philippines this morning. This after pictures show he was still in Belen even after the archdiocese asked him to leave. Father Jonas Romeo was suddenly removed from Our Lady of Belen Catholic Church last month. We received these pictures showing Father Romeo with a teen at a rec center. A date stamp on the photo of the church-related function shows May 4th. Kristen.
Today's Metro Threat Index up to a 7, tracking strong winds out of the south-southeast, about 20 to 30 miles per hour. Spotty to even scattered storms likely here in the metro with rain, gusty winds, and lightning. Even some small hail in there. With cooler temperatures down by 10 today, we continue with the high threat index as we get into tomorrow as well. Crystal?
This summer, the state hopes to break ground on a project that would get traffic moving at one of the busiest spots in Albuquerque. The plan is to widen I-25 by extending the 4th lane southbound from San Antonio to Jefferson. That would ease congestion caused by cars exiting and merging during the morning and evening rush hours.
An historic Albuquerque park looks a whole lot different this morning. City leaders held a rededication ceremony at Westgate Heights Park near 98th and Sage. That park got a major renovation, got new trees, new grass, as well as park fixtures and walking paths. The park fell into disrepair in recent years after most Little League activity was moved to another park.
New this morning, tuna company Bumblebee agreed to pay a $25 million fine for price fixing. It also pled guilty to conspiring with competitors to fix prices. Last December, Bumblebee and rival Chicken of the Sea abandoned a planned merger after the Justice Department raised concerns about competition in the marketplace.
And some new facts this morning on sodium intake. Putting down the salt shaker may actually not be good enough. Some doctors in Minnesota say people also need to cut back on processed foods and restaurant meals if they hope to make a dent in sodium intake. Kristen?
Time now for a check on your morning commute when it comes to the overall things. We were talking about that closure on Montgomery earlier. Sarah mentioned that, but interstates actually look okay. And besides Montgomery, surface streets moving smoothly as well.
All right, next year, you're going to be able to read a new book co-written by former President Bill Clinton and best-selling novelist James Patterson. It's going to be a thriller filled with details that maybe only a president could know. It's called The President is Missing, and it's scheduled to be released in June 2018.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, time now for the 5 facts.
Start with number 5 here. A teacher from Santa Fe is advancing to the semifinals of the Teachers Tournament after winning on Jeopardy! Gail Anschel is a kindergarten teacher from El Dorado Community School in Santa Fe, made her big appearance last night. She defended a strong lead and was the only contestant to get the final Jeopardy! Question? The final Jeopardy! Correct. It'll give all contestants, by the way, a $2,500 educational grant to fund classroom projects.
On to number 4 now. Democratic lawmakers from New Mexico are hoping to pass federal legislation to stop schools from lunch shaming kids if their parents owe a school lunch debt, like making kids do chores to make up the money owed or offering a cheese sandwich instead of a hot meal. The bill mirrors a state law that directs schools to work with parents to pay their debts or to sign up for federal meal assistance.
At number 3, today a motion hearing could impact the trials for the 3 suspects charged in the murder of 10-year-old Victoria Martins. Victoria's mother, Michelle Martins, Fabian Gonzalez, and Jessica Kelly are all charged. Police recovered a smartphone Michelle sold and a laptop that Gonzalez pawned in the weeks before Victoria was killed. Prosecutors will look for any possible evidence. Also, a judge is set to decide the order of trial for the 3 suspects.
At number 2, looking at scattered to widespread storms and showers today. Best severe weather threat, or the highest severe weather threat that is likely over northern, central, and eastern New Mexico. Eastern plains, once again, you are favored for some of the stronger storms, dropping hail, isolated tornadoes, gusty winds, and heavy downpours at times with cooler temperatures this afternoon and heading into tomorrow.
Number one now this morning, opening statements are set to begin in the retrial of former Santa Fe County Deputy Ty Chan. The former deputy is charged with murder for the shooting death of his law enforcement partner, Deputy Jeremy Martin, at a Las Cruces hotel back in 2014. Today will be the first time both prosecutors and the defense will be able to speak about the case to a new jury, all of them picked on the first day. Prosecutors say there was intent charging him with first-degree murder. The defense has claimed self-defense. Chan's first trial ended in a hung jury. After opening statements, the jury is expected to visit the crime scene in person. We'll be live streaming from the courtroom.
Join us on KRQE this morning, continuing on Fox New Mexico right after this break. We'll see you on the other side.